My name is Hector Ramirez, and today I will be showing you how to set up and get started with the PEM application. So first of all, uh, I will be showing you how to set it up on my native system, which in this case is Linux, which shares a lot of similarities with Mac OS. And then we'll move on to a virtual machine where I will show you how to get it set up on Windows because it is a little bit different. When it comes to Linux, through your package managers, you want to go ahead and install npm. So make sure that you're able to do npm version to get the version for your system. This is something that's going to vary depending by your operating system of choice. On Mac OS, you can go to Node.js and download it for Mac OS. And same thing for Windows, we'll be doing something a little bit different, which ensures that it will be 100% compatible. Once you have it, I highly recommend getting Git. If you're on Linux, you can go ahead and get this through your package repository, just like you did with npm. If you are on Mac OS, just by doing Git, it will prompt you to install it from xtools. And I will be showing you later down the video how to do so for Windows as well, because it is a little bit different. After you have that, we can go ahead and clone the repository. Just a second here to get access to the repository. So we can go ahead and copy the link, and then using Git, we can go ahead and clone the application. We have to do Git clone and then the link to the website, to the Git repo. Once we have it, we can go ahead and open up the we can open up there so we can browse the files. And here we're going to have the application. Okay. Once we have the application, we want to do some setup first. The first one is going to be to install Expo. And to do so, we need to do this with sudo administrator privileges. This would be the same thing for Mac. Just do sudo npm I for install I, or you can do install. That's G means we want to do this globally, so it's always accessible. And then we do expo CLI. It's going to ask you for our administrator password. Just going to go ahead and do that. And this is going to go ahead and install the expo CLI. This process can take a little bit of time depending on how powerful your computer is, as it has to download a lot of dependencies that Expo does rely on to work. We are just waiting for it to finish. All right, so just to test it out, we can do Expo version, and we can get the version of Expo that is currently installed. So this allows us to access Expo, which manages all of the dependencies for our application. Our application is baked on React Native, and we use Expo as our environment to be able to manage dependencies and packages for us. The next step we want to do is we want to go ahead and enter PEMApp, and we are currently in our master branch in GitHub. After we've entered here, we want to do npm install. This is to install all of the dependencies for our application. Every package that our application depends on will be installed using this single command. So let's just give it a minute here for it to install. All of these modules are kept here on the node underscore
All right.
modules. So now that it's done installing all of the dependencies, the one last step that we need to do is to set up our Firebase configuration and uh, our Golia configuration. So let me go ahead and open up this in Xcode. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open the folder here. So what you need to go ahead and configure is going to be your, there's going to be a file named Firebase config. Here you need to put your private API keys and project ID. And the other one is going to be Algolia config, which is going to be this one right over here, which you need to input the app ID, your search key, and your index names. And this is all used to be able to reference that. I will be copying those over from my local uh, copy of the repo, which already has those files inside. All right, so after you've added those two configuration files, you are ready to start running the app. Right from VS Code, we can go to terminal and we can run expo start. I do apologize, I am in a container environment. So right back to terminal, we can do expo or npm start, and this will launch us to run the application. On Android devices, we can download, um, we have to download the Expo app on iOS and Android, and through there we can scan the barcode here, and that will start running the application locally. I will now go ahead and show you how to do the same process on Windows. All right, so now we're going to move on to Windows, and I'm going to show you how to do the setup on Windows. This is going to be my Windows virtual machine, so I'm going to move on to full screen here. So to get started, we want to go ahead and run PowerShell as an administrator. We're going to be using a tool called Chocolatey to install all of our dependencies. So to install Chocolatey, we go to Chocolatey for Windows. We go to Install. Scroll down, and we go ahead and click here to copy this code, and then we paste it here. This is going to install Chocolatey on our system. I already have it installed, so that's why it's not gonna install it again. Once Chocolatey installed, we want to do choco install. Here we're going to do Node.js. After Node.js, we're going to do Git to be able to clone our repository. We're also going to want to do Python, as some of the Node.js modules that our project depend on does have some Python dependencies. And lastly is going to be Visual C++ build tools. And this is also used by Node.js. I already have all of these dependencies installed in my system, so it's not going to go ahead and install them again. So lastly, we can go ahead and exit out of our PowerShell. Do keep in mind when you're doing this process for the first time, it can take a little bit of time, especially on Visual Studio build tools. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open up a terminal here on my desktop. I'm going to go into my repo, and then I'm going to do git clone to clone the repository. We have to do one more step here. I apologize. We have to install Expo globally, just like we did on. So we open up an administrator PowerShell. Again, that is PowerShell. Right click and run as administrator. And here we have to do npm install, that's G for global, Expo CLI. All right, so we have Expo installed. One way that we can test it out is if we open up a new terminal and we type in Expo version. It won't be recognized yet because Windows does require us to exit out, but that's okay. So we have our repo here. We have it in our desktop, so we're going to go ahead and go into it. You can also double click to browse inside. There's one more thing that we need to do, and that is going to be to install the dependencies for our application. And just like in Linux, we can do the same thing here on Windows. We can do npm install to take care of installing all of our dependencies for our application. Since I am running on a virtual machine, this will take a little bit of time, but let's just let it run here. All right, and there it is. That is our app running as it is intended. Just like before, make sure you download the Expo app on Android and on iOS, and then scan the barcode so you can run the application. Thank you very much for your time.